Welcome to the Hellmouth. Hope everybody's 5x5. This is Major Slayage, Ket Arik, Rewatch, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My name is Eric, and halfway across the goddamn globe, please welcome the quaint, quirky, quippy, quick-witted, quintessentially qualified quarterback of our offense. You know her as half the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket. Stay alive, maybe. Give it up for my queen, Ketryn Porter.
You were nervous about cues, but that might be my favorite one.
Oh, it was fun. It was cool. Yeah. Like I said, Q, not so difficult. I think we're going to get into some, getting into the weeds with David Pumpkins here with some of these later letters. But hi. You may notice things are looking a little different. I'm coming to you live from Wrexham, Wales. I just got in this afternoon. I'm going to be here for the next few days, checking in on our house and just taking a little break from life in Los Angeles. But we wanted to keep our schedule, so we're going to do this episode a slightly modified fashion. Ketryn's coming to you from her apothecary in our house.
Yeah, I didn't want to be all cooped up in my sound booth while I was home alone. I feel a little less caged up.
Hi, we're here to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 2, Episode 17, Passion, singular, not to be confused with Passions, the weird supernatural soap opera that was on in the 90s and 2000s, and hell, maybe still be on today. I'm not sure.
I don't think it is, because I think wasn't there like a little small person or child?
Yeah, there was Timmy. There was a little, I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but it was either like a human doll or like an adult trapped in a kid body or something.
And I think that person in real life died. So I think maybe that was the end of the show. I don't know. I'll trivia crypt
Passions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't normally have much to catch up on because we live together. We both work from home, and so we've usually seen each other all day before we record. But I've actually been gallivanting across the globe. I left LA 1:40 yesterday morning, LA time. It's now 1:40 in the morning, Wales time here. So I've it's been 32 hours since we last saw each other. Or even more because you dropped me off at the airport. Do you have any questions? We haven't really spoken much since I got in, because when I finally got back to the house, it was time for you to start your work day, and then I needed to sleep.
I guess I just have one question. Did you inform all of our friends that they're only allowed to have half as much fun hanging out with you as they would if I was there? They can only have half fun.
I feel bad kind of telling them how to live their lives, but I'm going to imply such, regularly as we're hanging out.
Okay. Great.
No, things went. It's a long day, but it was pretty smooth. Everything went right on time. Breezed through security at all my airport stops. Got some work done on the 2-hour train ride from Manchester to Wrexham. So, got some groceries. Picked up some Murphy's Irish Stout. Yakida.
And I ate too many nachos.
How many's too many?
Finish the bag.
No, finish the bag. Did you make it? You melted the cheese and all that?
Just cheese.
Just cheese and chips.
Yeah, cheese and chips, and I ate too many. I was on my own. I was having a little Tom Cruise risky business kind of night.
What did you think of Passion?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy! Watching this. Well, one thing I will say is I was expecting a lot more dissociation from you, because this fucking episode is hard to watch, but you stayed with it. You stayed in it. I did my note take watch this morning, and I freaking cried again watching it. Like, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a really great episode. It's really fucking sad. We did our watch along a few days ago. We recorded that on Saturday. It's late Tuesday night here. Usually we kind of do them back to back. So I honestly don't remember what we discussed in the watch along. So we've had a few people on Patreon comment like, yeah, your attitude changed between the watch along and the actual episode. And that tends to happen when we put a couple of days of space in there. So I'm not really sure what we're going to say today or how it's going to match up to what we already said as we were reacting to it. But yeah, this is powerful. This was a gut punch. I didn't remember how Jenny left the show.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't ready for it to happen yet. They just made up. It was really evil
Yeah.
to do that to us as viewers, take a character that we love so much. But she's really the only character in the core group we could stand to lose,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
and not damage the structural integrity of the show going forward. So I should have seen it coming.
Yeah.
It didn't make it any easier, and the way he did it was just so rough. Yeah, there's a lot of
Because he didn't. Well, let's wait till we get
let's
there
just
before
get
we.
into it. Do you have a spell?
I do. So I had written a spell for personal reasons ages ago, but it was a sort of a very. I had similar feelings when I wrote this spell that I imagine Buffy to be feeling right now, because one of the things, a very specific type of loss that I think isn't necessarily talked about as much as like death, is when someone does die but they're still walking the planet, but like the person you knew is dead. And there's a very specific mourning process that happens there, because I'm certainly not suggesting that when you lose a loved one to death, it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. What I will say is that there's an automatic sense of closure when they are no longer on this plane of existence that you kind of can't avoid. Like, you can't avoid that sense of closure. Yeah. When it's just the person's, I mean, not to be literal, but it is like their soul is dead. It's like their body is still walking on the same planet as you. And so you have to make these very conscious efforts to untie yourself from them. And that's really hard. And part of the mourning process is the bargaining and the denial. This spell was written in a time of what I now know is a little bit of denial. That being said, it can kind of be used in whatever way you see fit, because again, it's all about intention and the way that you use it. So this particular spell, we used bay leaves, and it was a multi-night spell. So what I did was I wrote the words "mote it be" on each bay leaf, and I would put a bay leaf under my pillow at night with the words "mote it be" on it, and I would fall asleep meditating to the idea of whatever the intention was that I had. In this particular one, it was sort of a call to bring someone back to themselves.
Before we move on, explain what "mote it be" is to people who may not know what that phrase means.
Make it so.
Make it so.
Or it is so. It is true. It is now, kind of thing.
Okay.
The final bay leaf on the final night, I wrote something different. I wrote "it is done." I then proceeded to burn all of the bay leaves in a cauldron along with sage, while visualizing and knowing that it is already true. So here are the things that you can sort of change based on whatever it is that you are doing. You can start it on a specific phase of the moon, depending on, each phase of the moon has a different intention. So you can map the phase of the moon to whatever your intention is. You could also start it in a certain month. You could start it on a certain Sabbath. You could start it on a certain day of the week. All of those things have a symbolism. You can also do it for however many nights you wish to do it. Meaning, what is the numerology of the number 9 for you? What is the personal association of the number 9 for you? So you can kind of fill in the blanks for this particular spell, but it's the idea of putting that bay leaf with "mote it be" written on it, and then falling asleep to meditating on whatever the intention is. So I will share this, and just know that it's a very specific spell to me. So in terms of when I did it, the number of nights I did it, all of that is kind of up to your interpretation.
I will say this too, as someone who was with you during this, without getting into the particulars. I think sometimes what I observe about your practice is that you go in with an intention aimed at the world, aimed at another person, aimed at something outside of yourself. But kind of subconsciously, what you're really doing is work on yourself and work on being able to accept things or changing the way you look or look at or feel about things. And so I think sometimes if you go, well, I did the thing and I said the words and I put the thing under the pillow and whatever external thing didn't have the outcome I wanted, instead of looking at that spell as like, oh, the spell didn't work, you go, but how did it change you?
Yeah.
How did it soften or strengthen your heart or change the way you viewed something? So I think that a lot of times there's an unintended sort of subtext to these that I still find very useful, even if the outcome externally doesn't go as you maybe were thinking it would when you wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really related to Buffy a lot of times in this episode. And she says some really powerful things, and we'll get into it when it happens. But like Arik and I are on two very, very distinct sides of the fence when it comes to one of the set pieces in this episode that is utilized that I love and totally get, and feel like Arik is definitively wrong and he feels the opposite from me. So I'm excited to talk about that specifically when we get there.
Well, I think we're there. Let's kick things off. Take it away.
Yeah. So we open at the Bronze, and Bander is dancing again, but they're dancing like platonic friends. So nobody had to feel weird or uncomfortable.
Right.
And here we are with the exact set piece that I am referring to. It is a voiceover from the character of Angel that happens throughout this episode.
Passion. It lies in all of us. Sleeping, waiting, and though unwanted, unbidden, it will stir, open its jaws, and howl.
I love this. I think it's incredible, and I'll tell you exactly why, and I will defend it to the hilt throughout. The entire concept of Angel at Valentine's Day and why he is so evil is because he has his own poetry to what he does. So I am not critiquing, I am not on necessarily having an opinion about what he's saying or whether or not he is the voice that I would cast for this particular voiceover. It's always going to be Anthony Head if we're doing something like this.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
What I'm responding to is how on point it is for this character to be taking his art so fucking seriously.
Now for the counterpoint.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think it's so cringe. I think it doesn't, just on the surface level, the poetry itself, I'm reminded of Lily Sobieski going on the Tonight Show after 9/11 and reading her frantic poem.
Crashing down, all frown, hurting, walking, silently screaming, slowly running, often feeling nothing. Cry. Cry. It's okay.
It was just like,
oh, girl. No.
I don't believe it. I don't think it's good poetry. I also don't know that where is Angel? Is Angel journaling this poetry? Like, it just doesn't.
Why not?
It doesn't sound like his voice. It doesn't sound like the ravings of a sociopathic psycho serial killer who's looking for ways to hunt and fuck with people. So I didn't buy it from him. I think his performance is really flat and affectless and not becoming. It's also a thing we don't ever do in the show before. So I feel like if you're going to introduce this new thing, this new gimmick, you got to hit it out of the park. And I just feel like this failed on every front. I hated it.
Okay. Well, we've heard both opening statements, and the prosecution, which is Arik, is overruled.
Sound off in the comments. You guys are the jury. Is this awesome or is this like super lame?
I love it. Okay, so
also they don't do it consistently throughout. I remember because I rewatched it since the watch along, so it'd be fresh in my mind. And we do it at kind of close to the beginning, And then we go a long time with none of it. And it's sort of like, this wants to be Rorschach's journal from Watchmen.
The streets are extended gutters, and the gutters are full of blood. And when the drains finally scab over, all the vermin will drown.
And
it's
was.
just not. And it's just not.
Okay,
Anyway.
so Buffzilia is leaving the Bronze, and it's very, very sweet how this quadruplet is coming together. Though I did miss Oz, so I'm sure that it was a budgeting situation that he wasn't in this episode.
Yeah, I clocked this during the watch along too. I was like, it's so, and they don't even reference it. They just needed to say like Oz is on tour or something. Because why in the world is he not around?
Yeah, so the ruling in this court is that Oz is on tour.
He's doing Ozfest.
Yeah. So as they walk by with not a care in the world, we see that Angel was eating someone in the shadows. And I just wrote, man, he is so... I really tried to describe and pinpoint why David Boreanaz is so good at this character. One of the things I came up with is how aloof he is. He's aloof in his violence, and it is really terrifying. It's really scary.
I would agree. And I think that, to get back to our other discussion, there's poetry in the way he goes about his business.
Mm-hmm.
He is so poetic. There is such a flair to what he does, which is why I thought the actual poetry felt lackluster by comparison. Because, yeah, him eating someone as they walk by, discarding the body without a care in the world, all the little traps he's about to lay out, all the weird little John Doe from Seven scenarios he stages are really cool and creative and crazy. I'm just like, we are going to have passion, and maybe someday we won't.
I'm sorry. We have already litigated this matter, and the verdict has been issued.
We're already into our appeal.
We go to Buffy's room, and, you know, she looks out the window just to like see if he's immediately staring at her. He's not. So she gets into bed, but then he is immediately staring at her.
And this was the first what the fuck moment for me, because we both thought that she had the power to rescind the invitation when in the season 1, episode 7, Angel, after Darla attacks Joyce and makes it look like Angel had, she throws his ass out the window and was like, if you ever come back here, I'll fucking kill you. We just assumed, oh, invitation rescinded. He can no longer come in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We both thought that could be withdrawn at any time. So I was very surprised that he was able to get in her room. And I know they get to it later in the episode, but this was something that lingered for me.
We see that he comes literally into her room while she is asleep, and we get another voiceover.
It speaks to us, guides us. Passion rules us all, and we obey. What other choice do we have?
The president speaks. The situation reeks an act of war. I enter my room, close the door, sit here. Here where buildings do not fall to the floor.
We see that he like touches her face and she doesn't wake up. And I was like, girl, where are your Slayer spidey senses? Because he is touching your face.
Yeah, she's a sound sleeper, because
I feel like Slayers should not be sound sleepers. I feel like
kind
they
of have the
should
one
be
eye open
cats. Yeah, where it's like they're always just a little bit awake. So the next morning she wakes up and there's an envelope of parchment on her pillow. And one thing we did not talk about in the watch along that I would like to bring to your attention, I feel like along with him being a poet and a maestro of theatrics, he's also a really incredible sketch artist.
Does he carry his like little charcoal pencils with him? Is he sitting in there like?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely doing that.
Pure Renaissance man.
He really is a true Renaissance man. And I feel like we need to give him credit for all of his talents. So we go to the library and Buff is telling everybody what the fuck is up. This is where Eric and I got the lore figured out. So once you've invited them in, they're always welcome. Cordy starts freaking out because she invited Angel into her car one time. And so now the scene is 100% about Cordelia, as it should be.
And Xander has a funny line that was almost my best line, but wasn't, where he's like,
Yep, you're doomed to having to give him and his vamp pals a lift whenever they feel like it. And those guys never chip in for gas.
Never chip in for gas. Yeah. Frankly, I was surprised that wasn't your marital grievance against me, that I left the gas tank empty, but too late.
Two days in a row. Oh my God. Yeah, you brought it up.
Too late. Can't do it.
We have
You're
this game of
wait.
chicken, because we're down to one car now, because I was barely ever drove my car, and we rather would have the garage space for creative things like doing a show. And so we share a car, and I feel like you're worse about it than me, but there is a game of chicken about who can drive it until there's only 1 mile of range left in the tank, and that person has to fill up the gas tank. So I got in the car on Thursday and it was empty, so I put gas in it. Then you had to drive around to do some errands. I got in the car Sunday morning and it was down to 4 miles of range again. I was like, I just put gas in this
Now,
thing.
to be fair, what did I say? I had an appointment that was canceled. I had every intention of being the one to fill it up, thinking I would be the next one in the car,
one to drive it,
and I wasn't. So,
but I think the rule should
overruled.
The rule should be, unless you're late for an appointment at the house, like that's happening right now, whoever's driving when it starts to go empty, fill it up on the way home and park it with gas in it. That should be the rule.
I look forward to holding you to your own rule.
It's my rule. I'm gonna fulfill it with gusto.
I look forward to it. So we have to actually create a barrier to reverse the invitation.
And I forget, does Giles know right away how to do
No.
it, or he's like, there might be a way, I have to look into it, right?
He's got to look into it.
Sounds like a thing we should be able to do. I don't have any idea how to do it.
Yeah. And I kind of realized why he wouldn't necessarily know how to do it, because I do think it's a matter of like, well, we're not inviting vampires in.
Yeah,
like,
where the fuck would I have ever invited a vampire?
We're not doing that. So like, this is not a piece of spell work I need to know, because please don't invite vampires in.
Right.
Which I loved. So at one point they're having this very important conversation, and then two students, one of whom being Jonathan, comes in looking for a book, and they're like, get the fuck out of the book place for books, get out of here. So then they all leave for privacy, and I just found this whole thing very funny, because it is like a joke that I feel like viewers talked about when it was on, of like, why are there never any other students in the library? So I like that they kind of made fun of that.
Yeah, I still contend show would have benefited from every third library scene, put a couple of extras milling about doing research or looking for books, and they have to kind of huddle a little bit close and speak in hushed tones so as not to be overheard. It would just make the show feel a little more lived in. It would make this feel a little more like a real place.
I agree, and unfortunately I think this is another example of just like where the budget stifles creativity, because we see what happens when they don't have a budget for fight choreography, and if they have to pay the budget for, extras,
right?
I can see why they're like, let's suspend some disbelief and not ever have any students in the library. They all leave. Now they're in the hallway, and Cordelia is so fucking funny. But again, she really does serve a purpose. This almost made it as my favorite line. Cordelia asked the very real question of like, I don't understand why he's just like fucking with her. Why doesn't he just slit her throat or strangle her while she's sleeping or cut her heart out? Everyone's like, what the fuck? She's like, what? I'm trying to help. I contend she is trying to help.
Yeah,
because it is like, this is weird behavior for a vampire to have so many opportunities to kill her and he's not. So like, what's the fucking deal, dude? And I love that.
His fuckery is on the level of, do you remember? I feel like there were stories about this where like people would break into your house and rearrange the furniture.
I think the movie The Strangers was based on that.
Okay.
Possibly, but do the trivia crypt for it, because I don't want to speak. I just kind of remember Kim and I talking about this, and maybe we can put a link actually to the episode of the Strangers. We did both of them, so it should be 2 episodes in there. Buffy has the realization that she's like, oh shit, you know who else lives at my house that Angel's able to come into? my mom.
Which seems wild that they're just now thinking of this, because she's like, hey, when Angel told me months and months and months ago that when he decided to attack Drusilla, first thing he did was kill her family. She's just now thinking of this. Like, who knows? It's been a day, a week.
I think we're underestimating how hard this is for her to wrap her whole brain around.
Yeah. And to be fair, Joyce is kind of an absentee mom who's at the gallery most nights and isn't around very much and doesn't really do a lot of momming. So Buffy probably feels a lot of the time she doesn't even have a mom.
The shade that just got thrown at Joyce, I am not okay with that. Joyce is doing her best. Joyce is raising a high schooler with no help from Hank, Lord knows. She's just trying to make a fucking living while maintaining her joy. So you know what? You can go fuck yourself. You and Hank can go suck a butt. Court adjourned. Anyway. So this is also where Giles kind of tells her, like, brings the theme of the episode to bear, where he's like, I get that you are having a lot of emotions, but like you cannot be a slave to your passions. And she's like, are you basically saying to ignore him and he'll go away? And he's kind of like, yeah, sort of. I don't think Giles thinks he'll go away. Right. But I do think that he's trying to get a rise out of you. Right. He's trying to get you to slip up. He's trying to provoke you. So like you do have to chill the fuck out as a strategy.
Which is interesting because Buffy's lesson to Kendra was your passion is what makes you a good slayer. Yeah. Yep. So she's like basically having to ignore her instincts and set down what she thinks is her greatest asset.
Yeah.
Because he can use it against her. He's going to manipulate her. He can outmaneuver her where this is concerned.
Exactly. And I also think that this does such a great, one of the things that this show does, this feels familiar to me, so maybe I've said it in another context before. It really does a great job of showing the gray, that things are not black and white, no matter how much you want them to be.
We talked about that last episode, yeah.
Yeah, so something that was a rule last week is the very thing you have to throw out the window this week, which I think is fascinating. So in computer class now, something very specific that Jenny says that I'm really glad she said it. I thought it was sort of inconsequential and quaint when I first heard it until the end of the episode. I'll talk about it. She says, I need your reports tomorrow. I want a paper printout and a copy on disc. She wants both. Cover that. I'll talk about that later.
Interesting detail. No, I like that.
Yeah. So she asked Willow to cover her class tomorrow, and Willow is so cute about it. Are they going to recognize my authority? Buffy comes in and immediate weirdness. I so felt for Willow in that moment where she's like, I think she says this, I have to talk to her, but also like my loyalty is but also
yeah, you compared her to Hermione Granger where she's like, she's a student first and is always going to respect that authority, is always going to have a reverence for the person in a position of teacher.
Yeah.
And that is going to show up regardless how she feels about what the person did. But also I feel like it doesn't seem like Willow holds Jenny as culpable as Buffy does for all this. I think she's a little more sympathetic to Jenny's. I don't think she could have known how this would play out.
I think she is too. I think there is a level of like understanding the nuance of cultural trauma.
Oh, that's a good point.
That Buffy isn't capable of being empathetic towards.
But also Willow and Oz, Willow just had to kind of go, Oz is a werewolf and, he's going to do what he can. But like, I think she's opening her heart to like the complexities of we're on a Hellmouth and everyone's some kind of weird monster thing and we've got to make allowances.
Yeah. Giles stays to talk to Jenny, and boy, oh boy, did Anthony Head do a good job at this scene. He did some really subtle work where he comes in excited. He comes in with like these bubbles sort of just percolating just below the surface. And it's not until Jenny reminds him, oh, right, my loyalty is to Buffy, where she says, how's Buffy doing? That his entire demeanor shifts ever so slightly, and he says, how do you think? And that's where we sort of get the I'm still team Buffy, even though it hurts me that I'm still team Buffy. Also, did you notice that Anthony Head has 2 different colored eyes?
No.
It's apparent in this scene. So his right eye is very greenish. His left eye is almost half green, half brown.
What?
I think it's hard to catch unless you're on like a, single shot of him close up.
Right. And we're watching on Amazon Prime now. The video quality is a lot better. Hulu, like I said, looks like it was filmed through an aquarium on an old like Nokia flip phone.
Yeah. So here's where Jenny sort of tells us exactly what we all are understanding, except for Buffy, which is my first duty was to my people. Like, that's the first thing that I was taught. I didn't know what would happen when they gave me this assignment, which I think is valid. And I also didn't know that I was going to fall in love with you.
Right. And then she immediately wants to gobble those words back up.
Yeah.
Although she does say a thing which I found mildly objectionable. It might be true from her perspective, but it's kind of tone deaf. Where she says, I'm basically like, I'm a descendant of the people Angel hurt the most.
Yeah, you had issue with that. Tell me about that.
Talk to Drusilla.
Right.
See who was hurt the most. You know what I mean? Like, I think he hurts a lot of fucking people. I don't think you get to claim it. It's not a contest. Just it's enough that he hurt your people. This trying to claim it was hurt the most.
Again, I don't know that is her thought. I think that is the thought that was implanted. That no one.
He was indoctrinated with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that that's her thought. And I think that's part of what she's trying to uncover. Or not uncover, but
untangle.
Like untangle. Thank you. This was also where like this particular musical theme.
I just want to be right with you. I don't expect more. I just want so badly to make all this up to you.
I understand.
Whoo, dude, those notes just it's quite literally playing my heartstrings.
You could feel your chest just tighten, even just thinking about it now. Like you could feel your physiological changes in yourself.
Now Boyce is at dinner and Buffy is wrestling with what to tell Joyce.
She needs Joyce to regard Angel with a certain amount of caution without revealing why.
Right. This is where that Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show being a metaphor for real life is very apparent. Even Joyce says, let me guess, he's changed. He's not the man you knew. Like, just so beautiful, and allowing Buffy to go, yep, that is exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. And he's having trouble letting go. Was just so heartbreaking. And she basically is just like, so don't invite him in. But again, he doesn't need an invitation. Like,
right.
Yeah,
but I guess it's precautionary in that if we do solve this threshold business, I don't need her to immediately fuck it up by inviting him in. So we're going to preemptively.
That's true. That's very true.
We're currently working on how to solve this, but I need her to not fuck it up instantly by
very good point.
Oh yeah, Buffy said. But she really downplays the danger in a way. She's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, if he comes by, I'll talk to him. Like, that was very sort of casual. I think she's trying not to alarm Joyce.
100%.
But I think she was trying to say, like, if he shows up, let me know he's here.
Exactly.
This was she was walking a tightrope of how to get Joyce to fall in line without knowing why, and I thought that she did a really great job.
Yeah. So now Buffy's on the phone with Willow, and Willow is trying to reassure Buffy, he's trying to provoke you. I agree with Giles. And then she's feeding her fish. She turns and sees an envelope on the bed, and it's all of her tropical fish strung together. This was dark.
It was dark. It was a little underwhelming for me though, because the envelope wasn't at all wet or anything. Like, so did he like put the fucking fish in an air fryer first? Like, how did he get that? They look like plastic toys coming out of the envelope. Like, I feel like the prop really undercut the effectiveness of this gag for me.
Do you want me to do my justify it as the actor if this was my
Sure.
role? He took the fish out. Ugh, I don't even like talking about this, but this is the justification. He took the fish out.
Yeah.
He laid them all on a towel
Got a little hair dryer.
and he watched them die
Right.
and dried them off individually with the towel, made it so that they were not going to leave any residue when he placed them into a paper envelope. So it would be the most shocking and unexpected it could
It
be.
was like the heart last week, where it's like this heart has no slime on it, no residue. It's just like a little piece of meat that's been completely sucked dry of blood or
Yeah.
mucus
Yeah.
or anything else.
Yeah.
Just imagine
It's-
Angel just patting things down with a towel for these little pranks.
Yeah. It's really disturbing when you think about it that way.
Dedication to the craft.
Yeah, much like his poetry. Anyway, Willow goes over to Buffy's house. Once again, Xander's parents get the headlines for bad parenting. The level of neglect that Willow experiences should also be noted. Like, she is so neglected that like it literally doesn't even occur to her that her parents are in danger. And I think part of that has to do with just like her parents are just not even,
Or check the fuck out.
they're just check the fuck out. For all we know, they're out of town and they've just left Willow there. Like, it's
Right.
just both Willow and Xander are lacking in parental care, which is why I'm not appreciative of your criticisms of Joyce. She is doing the best she can, and when we have comparisons as we do,
Yeah. Well, here's the
Joyce
thing.
is killing it.
Just because we're grading on a curve doesn't mean Joyce's C- parenting should get a gold star.
I am so mad at you. Your assessment of Joyce is next week's marital grievance. I'll talk about it next time. So Willow says this really haunting thing when she is over at Buffy's house now. And she's holding a steak and Willow has garlic hanging up everywhere. You know, Buffy says he's a completely different guy completely different from the guy that I knew. And Willow says, but you're still the only thing he thinks about.
Mm-hmm. Living in his head rent free.
Yeah.
And she had a thing that anyone who's been through a breakup can relate to, where she's like, when stuff like this happens, my first impulse is
to go to him.
Go to Angel.
Yeah.
Like, that's who I would want to talk to about it. That's who would make me feel better about things. And to have to remind herself constantly that, oh no, he's the one causing you to feel this way.
Yeah.
Such a mind fuck.
Yeah, truly. So now we go to the lair, and the role reversal of Sprue is just whiplash. I mean, now it's Drew trying to get Spike to eat. Now it's Drew trying to get Spike to cheer up. Like, it's wild. I'm gonna really gloss over what she's trying to get him to eat. The puppy is fine. Nothing ever happens to the puppy in this episode. I'll just say that. But
she adopts it as a pet and it becomes her companion.
Spike is so emasculated. It's wild. Like, I can't believe Spike is still here. Like, I can't believe he hasn't just rolled away in shame with the amount of emasculation that he is having to endure. Angel comes in to emasculate him some more, and it's torturous. At one point Drew says, "Oh, you're back, we were worried," and Spike says, "No, we weren't."
Spike has some really good lines in this episode with regard to how he feels about Angel. Like, he's pissed at Angel, he's jealous of Angel. They're brothers.
Yeah.
They're bickering like brothers.
Yeah.
And he's like, I would never do anything to hurt Angel, but I'm not going to intervene to stop something from hurting Angel either.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Drew then has a vision, and she says, the air, it worries. Someone, an old enemy, is seeking help to destroy our happy home. The person seeking help is Jenny. She goes to a magic shop I
guy.
loved this actor.
Me too.
Loved this actor.
Because he's putting on an exotic voice and he's like, what is it you need? And then when she asks for like a piece of real, like specific, powerful
Yes.
stuff, he's like, he drops the facade, like, hey, you know, I got to do what I got to pay.
Yeah,
Got to keep the lights on around here.
It was so great. I loved it. Orb of Thessala. He reminds her, he's like, cool, you can have an Orb of Thessala, but like, as I'm sure you know, it's a paperweight and no one's been able to translate the text. She says, I'm working on a computer program to translate the text based on a random sampling.
You're a fucking nerd.
So we learn that the Orb of Thessala will help Angel get his soul back. We learn a little bit more about how the actual orb functions in a later scene, which we'll talk about. So now we cut to Buffzillo at school. This was my worst line.
We had kind of a pajama party sleepover with weapons thing.
Oh, and I don't suppose either of you had the presence of mind to locate a camera to capture the moment.
I have to go.
I'm just like, dude, these are your friends and also your girlfriend. And I'm just like, if Xander was my friend, this would be an instance where I'd be like, that's gross, dude. Like, that's yucky. And it just, I need them to start calling him out on this stuff. It's not appropriate. And also, like, we're in a really dire situation where, like, they were all together because people are being murdered. I just, Xander, get it together. Willow is then bummed that Jenny is there. She got her errand done sooner than she was hoping. And I love Buffy's outfit in this particular scene. Buffy confronts Jenny. And we're not really sure where it's going because Buffy definitely seems like she's like, hey, so do you still feel bad? Good. Keep feeling bad. And Jenny's like, got it. And then she's like, never mind. I mean, okay, keep feeling bad. But also, I don't want Giles to be lonely. So go talk to
And
Giles.
she goes, I don't want anyone to be lonely.
Yeah, which was lovely.
And while she's feeling terribly lonely, even Jenny, who she's got a well-justified grudge against, she doesn't want her to be lonely either. I think that, you know, these people are very vulnerable right now. Some togetherness might be the thing that keeps people safe.
Now we're with Biles. I think this scene is just that Giles found a ritual to revoke the invite. I think that's what this scene is. So now we go to Buffwillia in Willow's room. And we have a funny line where Willow is commenting about what Ira Rosenberg is going to do if he sees a crucifix nailed to her wall. And I was like, well, he's an absentee parent, so he probably won't even notice. Before Cordelia goes to leave, she says, here's another envelope. Now here's what's so fucked about this. So okay, we open the envelope. It's Joyce sleeping. Here's what's so fucked, dude. He didn't leave that at Buffy's house or at school.
He's tracking them. He knows where they are.
He's tracking them. He left a picture of Joyce sleeping at Willow's house. Like, it's so diabolical. There's no other word for it. Now we go to outside of the Summers home. Joyce is bringing in groceries and Angel confronts her. And I just wrote, she's such a badass in this scene. Like, her mama bear protectiveness, like, because Angel is terrifying and imposing. Let's fucking forget.
Large.
Let's forget that we know he's a vampire, and let's just look at the character he's playing at face value, like what Joyce
Clingy
is
stalker.
Clingy stalker, unhinged, like
6'4",
and almost like desperate and nervous in a way
she's
that's
twitchy.
just yes. And he didn't. And I think I'm a huge fan of Angelis's art. Like, I think that's what's happening. Like, I'm such a fan of his whole thing, because like, he didn't have to play this character. Like, he chose this character of like, this is the character I'm gonna play when I try to fuck with Buffy's mom. It's just beautiful. I mean, what was your take on that character he was playing? It was so familiar to me.
I think part of it was good thing Angel and Buffy's sort of cover story about where they are, the Joyce version kind of synced up because they didn't really coordinate that ahead of time.
Right.
Buffy was like, yeah, we were dating and now we broke up and now he's kind of still bothering me. And Angel, fortunately, plays right into that. Maybe because
Or
he
was
had his
he
ear to the
fucking
window
listening?
listening
Yeah.
the whole time. Yeah. So he knows how to play that. It reminded me of this might take a couple steps to get there, but at the end of Kill Bill, Bill tells the bride that Superman is a different kind of superhero because everyone else is Bruce Wayne and then they become Batman. Peter Parker becomes, he goes, Superman is who he is, and the costume is Clark Kent.
Okay.
And that is Superman's commentary on humanity, that they're weak, awkward, nervous. So I feels like in a way Angel is like making a comment about who Buffy would be into as a human or what kind of guy. Like, I think this is even more layers of artistry that, you know, the kind of thing you're into.
Yeah, damn, the kind of thing I'm into. Yeah, he's an artist. Listen, also I wanted to make sure I brought this up. You had a reference to the fact that what tumbles out of Joyce's grocery bag is oranges?
Yeah. Well, in The Godfather, Vito is shopping for oranges when he gets gunned down. And in The Sopranos, they reference that Tony's buying a bottle of orange juice when he gets shot in the street and attacked. So I don't know if it's a coincidence that, like, here's Joyce with a bag of oranges. Is it supposed to make us feel like she's in danger? Like, that's kind of a film nerd thing, though. I don't know if most audiences would pick up on that, but I'm curious if that was in there on purpose.
I mean, the people that made this are definitively film nerds. You know,
Right.
I feel,
but it's not something that most of the audience would read. So sometimes people put that stuff in for just the 10 people who are going to get it. But
yeah.
That was
And
struck
you're
me
one
for
of the
sure.
10 people.
You're a fucking nerd.
Angel is about to, and scene, but not before he goes out with the line.
I haven't been able to sleep since the night we made love.
What? That look on Joyce's face was mwah. No notes.
Because it's not just him ratting Buffy out and telling her secrets. It's making her afraid of him because he's someone who doesn't observe boundaries and feels like that's an appropriate thing to say to the mom. And the way he puts it, he doesn't say the night we slept together, the night we had sex, the night we made love. It's almost like Will Ferrell in the hot tub, my lover.
Yeah.
Like the creep factor works on so many levels.
And guess what else he's doing? Driving a wedge between Joyce and Buffy. Oh boy, he is a symphony, just walking in a meat suit. He's unreal. Angel, I am truly, I've never thought about
He's
Angel
good at
this
so
way.
many things. I feel like he could leave the deaf poetry out of it and he'd be fine.
Makeup, smearing, no power steering. He be talking, but we don't be hearing. I command you to stop.
I think, unfortunately, what we're experiencing right now, dear audience, is that some of Angel's art is a little over Eric's head. And that's okay. You know, not all art is for everyone. And sometimes art's a little too high for you to reach. And that's okay. It's okay.
That's your story. That's what we're going with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was a really cool scene. This is one of those scenes that I have a very visceral memory of like we are terrified for Joyce. She can't get her keys in the door. She goes in and we're like, Angel can still get in. Like, we're so fucked. We're completely fucked. And we open the door to Willow chanting something and Angel not being able to get in. And then Buffy saying simply,
"Bye, Felicia."
We cut to Jenny staying late at the school. Giles comes in and she is like, Buffy said that you miss me. So do you miss me? And Giles is like, Yes, I do. And she says, I don't know for sure yet. I'm still working on it, but I may have some news. Can I see you later? And he says, stop by my house. And the look on his face, and then that fucking music again comes in. Just going plink, 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 plink on my heartstrings.
Is that your nipples?
No, that was my heartstrings.
That music starts playing and I'm just like, ding.
No. So now we're back at the shop and Drew comes in with the puppy.
Miss Sunshine.
Again, Miss Sunshine. Nothing happens to the puppy. What was funny to me that I realized in this moment is she's basically carrying around like an emotional support snack.
Well, I think this dog has transcended that. I think the reason to be scared for this dog, I think this dog may have been purchased as sustenance, but now she's named it. But I think this dog should be worried because we've seen Drew taking care of pets that she loves and being very bad at it.
Oh, that's true. Maybe she'll turn him into a little vamp puppy.
That'd be cute.
That would be cute. Oh my gosh, little vamp puppy. Yeah.
Funny that a vamp named her dog Sunshine.
Again. She learned her artistic craft from her sire, Angel.
Yeah.
So now we go back to Jenny at school. She's finishing translating the text.
With like some programs like Translate-O-Matic or something.
Yeah.
So stupid.
She puts it on a disc and prints it out.
Right. You always have a backup.
Always have a backup, which she said in the very beginning for her students.
Really good catch. Detail. Really great catch.
And Angel's right there. And I just wrote, how long has he been there? How did he get in? Where was he hiding? Again, the artistry of this man.
They have a whole conversation about how did you get in here?
Uh-huh.
And he says, the transcription outside says, enter all who seek knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need an invitation to enter a school. We've seen vampires come into the school all the time. So this was like an unnecessary, convoluted explanation.
I hear what you're saying.
Because
I think
Spike's been in the school. Very first scene of that first episode is Darla breaking into the school.
Yeah, I think that's maybe
it's not a house.
I agree. I think we're just having so many conversations about where Angel can and cannot go that maybe that was just for people that are, this could be the first episode they're tuning into.
Right. But I think the answer to that question isn't, I found a loophole because you guys have a sign out front that it seems to imply I'm invited. You go, this is a school. It's not your house.
Right. Yeah.
Go wherever
I hear
I want.
you.
I don't have to be invited into the bronze either.
Yeah.
Like, I can just go.
And I just wrote, so fucking charming, sarcastic, terrifying, charm-castifying, if you will.
I will. Yeah, he makes a meal out of every scene in this.
Yeah, and it's just, and I just want to keep handing him seconds.
I'll say this. I think if he delivered the poetry narration with the same gusto that he acts these scenes, I might have bought it a little bit more.
Okay. All right. See, he's coming around, people. He then does, this was scary. This really tapped into something that lives deep inside women, I think, or female identifying folks. The flip switch, where he's looking at this orb sort of innocently, not innocently, that's not quite the word I mean, but
yeah, the sort of the transition between potential energy and kinetic energy is very jarring.
Yes, and the switch in his facial expression, where when he winds up and smashes the orb against the wall with absolute rage in his face and then flips immediately back. Do you remember the conversation that I was having with you about Jason Sudeikis, who is actually one of my favorite actors, one of my favorite people to watch? But one of the things that I've been talking to Eric about is how Jason Sudeikis, either in his characters and also maybe a little bit of who he is in real life, makes me very uneasy.
Feels like he's just barely containing some kind of darkness.
Rage. Yes.
Yeah.
He touches on it a little bit in Ted Lasso, where we see that like this overly positive guy has kind of a darkness to him. But if you've ever seen the movie Colossal with Anne Hathaway, he is really scary in that movie because he's such a handsome, tall, personable, guy next door,
charming.
And then when the rage bubbles up, it's a primal he taps into like a primal fear I have as a woman, and I think that's also what David Boreanaz is tapping into that I'm very impressed by.
Well, it reminds me of that thing that I saw quoted in The Gift of Fear. It's
Margaret Atwood.
Margaret Atwood quote where it's like, at their core, men are afraid women will mock them, and at their core, women are afraid men will kill them.
Yes.
And it's like that really lays bare what the stakes are.
Yes. Gosh, I feel like I'm really pontificating, but this episode, it's incredible.
No, he's truly terrifying.
Yeah. So he then proceeds to smash the computer, burns the paper, and this all worked for me because I was like, why the fuck would Angel know how computers work?
Right.
You know, like, why would he even know what a disk is? Like, he saw her take the disk out. Why the fuck would he know what the fuck that is?
Because he even spells it out. He goes, you put the thing in here and it comes out here. Well, I'm gonna break all of it because I don't.
Yeah. Also, in the watch along, we missed this. The door's locked. She goes up to it and she jiggles the handle and it's locked.
And it's not until he throws her into it that
Correct.
It opens?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, yeah, why did she try to run past him?
She literally goes up.
How is the door? Why does a classroom lock from the outside?
I think he did it. And so I think there's another door. I think that's what she was running to. I think it's one of those classrooms where there's two doors.
Yeah.
And so
pre-Columbine, I don't think you would have doors that lock from the outside.
Yeah. So that was what we missed. So she tries.
I missed that again on my rewatch earlier today.
Okay, yeah.
I was just like, there's a door right there. But,
so she tries to run. He throws her into the locked door, which again, if he knew the door was locked, he presumably would know that when he throws her, it's going to open, which means he wanted the chase.
He's corralling her that way. Well, he says, yeah, he's got to work up an appetite.
Yeah. So they're running through the school.
This chase was so long, it made me so uneasy.
Yeah. And he run walks in a very terrifying way. She ends up like shoving a janitor's cart into him. He flips over, but he meets her in the middle and fucking snaps her neck in the most joyous, exuberant way. It was unreal.
This is the most disturbing death we've seen on this show.
Yeah. And it was the quickest.
It was so upsetting because it was so abrupt. Like I said in the watch along, this chase is going on so long. Every second that goes by, I'm less and less convinced she's going to survive this confrontation. And then for it to just go up, and that's where you get off. Plop. Like,
yeah. And the way
I kind of couldn't believe it.
The way that he did it, and then he almost like throws his arms out and is just like basking in what he did and doesn't even feed on her. Like, that is
right. Well, because he's dedicated to the art.
Yeah.
And he's got other plans. Him dragging her bloody body through Giles's house is going to fuck up the scene he wants to stage. So he shows restraint because he's trying to make a masterpiece.
Yeah. So we cut to Giles at Buffy's. Willow answers the door. Loved this scene as well, where Willow is telling Giles that that Angel outed Buffy about sleeping together. And Willow says, Angel told Joyce that he and Buffy had, and she says, you do know, don't you? And he says, yeah. And she says, okay, because being a librarian and all that, maybe you didn't know. Giles then has the very innocent impulse to say, should I intervene on Buffy's behalf? Like, let Joyce know.
Should I say something?
And Willow says, sure. Like, what would you say? And then just opens the door for him to leave.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
Which was just so great.
You're out of your depth, Rupert. This one's not for you.
Yeah. We cut upstairs to Boyce. You know what? I'm going to back off. Why don't you tell me how you took this scene?
I thought this scene was mostly good. The only part I didn't like, and I understand why, I think it's realistic Joyce would do this. an overwhelmed parent who's freaked out. But it's just sort of well, you did make a mistake. And like, there's no time machine. There's no going back. I feel like we lacked a little support of like, okay, well, how are you emotionally? Like, she didn't really caretake her very much.
I hear you, but like this guy, like, she's terrified, dude. Like, she's scared. We're not this. Here's what this is not. Here's what this is not. This is not, I was dating a guy. We broke up. Oops, we had sex, but like, there's no threat here. Where she could go, okay, I kind of wish that you had maybe told me that you were doing this, a guy that you didn't see fit to tell me you were dating, blah, blah, blah. She was just physically threatened outside of her home.
But she takes it out on Buffy. Like, this is your fault. You screwed up. And like, none of that helps the situation. None of that is going to get them in a DeLorean and go back in time and have her play it differently.
I hear what you're saying.
It's going to make Buffy feel worse. It's frankly runs the risk of making Buffy feel less like sharing with her in the future. I think Joyce's choices were completely realistic for a single mom who's overwhelmed and stressed out. Don't love it as a parenting move.
Yes, but I also think that you and I can both relate to when your emotions are triggered in a way that you feel out of control. It's difficult to make measured choices in terms of how you talk to someone.
That's the job of a parent. And if you fall short of that, understandable, you still fell short.
Yeah.
You don't get a trophy for giving into your, sort of worse out of control impulses when your child is involved. As the recipient of some really questionable parenting, that's the charitable version. Yeah,
I hear you. She could have done it better. She didn't. She still is a great mom in my book.
They land in a good place on it though.
And I also think that Joyce does throughout the show. Joyce is portrayed in a way that I find really refreshing. They really tap into the way that parenthood is all improvisation.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Nobody, like, it's a first for everybody, and everyone is just, hopefully, everyone is trying to do their best. And I believe that Joyce is truly interested in doing her best.
Yeah, and I think from a writing standpoint, it's a much more interesting character than the sort of sage mom who always knows what to say.
Yeah.
And always plays every move exactly correct. I have an emotional reaction to watching people fumble parenting of a teenager.
I hear you. Yeah.
I have some wounds from that are still being explored in the therapeutic context at times. So
yeah.
But I think it's good. I think it's way more interesting than just mom always swoops in with a little bit of a fortune cookie and makes everything okay.
So now we're at Giles's apartment. He walks into Rose's champagne
opera.
He's so happy. Goes up the stairs to a trail of petals.
Well, he finds a note.
Oh, yeah. That says what? Upstairs.
Now, we recognize, obviously, the paper that all the other notes and drawings have been on.
Yeah. And he goes up the stairs, and Jenny is dead on his bed.
Now, here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
When did Giles invite Angel into his house?
We can trivia crypt it. You asked this during the watch along. Unfortunately, I don't remember, but I have a very distinct memory of Angel in that apartment. And I'm 99.9% positive about it.
Okay. I would love to see a chapter and verse on that.
I'll see if I can try and figure it out. But like I'm positive that he was in there before.
It's kind of unforgivable that they learn how to restore the threshold and they don't do it to everyone's house.
Well,
if Giles knows he invited Angel in and we spend all this time researching how to restore the barrier, why in the world wouldn't they go, wait, we're going to put it on Cordy's car. Where else have we invited this fucknut into?
Oh, well, wait a minute. this could be his next stop. He could be going home to do it right now. They just did it at Buffy's. She was literally upstairs, like having the conversation after it was done. Giles went to check. Did everything go okay? We don't know that he's not literally going home to do it right now.
I would love that to have been brought up.
Okay.
Because Willow isn't like going with him. Willow's the one who did it.
Yeah, but I think Giles would be able to.
Also, is this Willow's first spell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that just seems weird for them not to address it. Feels like sloppy writing. If they bring it up and they're like, "Fuck, we fucked up," we didn't restore the barrier.
Yeah, I think he was on his way to do it. But anyway,
my question is too about, because we in our trivia crypt about innocence, you covered that Angel can go into the uncle's hotel room because you can't establish a threshold at a hotel because it's not a permanent residence.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where apartment versus house lives in that. Is an apartment more like a hotel?
No, I think an
like
apartment would be more like a house, because even if we think of it from a legal standpoint, you and I have more legal right to being in our current home that we rent than we would if we were in a hotel room. Like,
sure.
So I think that there is a legal argument.
So vampire magic is based on the laws of this.
Yeah, on squatters' laws. So we cut to the cops being there. We get another bit of poetry.
Passion is the source of our finest moments. The joy of love, the clarity of hatred, and the ecstasy of grief.
Woman! Whoa, man! Whoa, man! She was a thief, you gotta believe. She stole my heart and my cat.
The ecstasy of grief. An Angel is watching Billow get the news from Giles's phone call about Jenny being dead as he watches outside the window, and he fucking smiles. We cut to Giles's apartment, and he's arming himself, and he is on a mission. We can see it in his demeanor that he shall not be deterred. No. Ripper is fully at the helm right now. And we see a drawing of Jenny. We now cut to Buffzilla coming into Giles's apartment, and they see that he took his good weapons, the weapons that he only brings out for company as opposed to his everyday weapons, which are at the library.
I loved this line too, because Xander usually tries to cut through an uncomfortable situation with humor.
Mm-hmm.
But even this line, the way he delivers it.
No, those are his everyday weapons. These were his good weapons. The ones he breaks out when company comes to visit.
He can't escape the sadness. He can't escape the awfulness. So he's still giving it the old college trying to do teenage Chandler Bing and say something to cut the tension. But he doesn't deliver it with any kind of zip. He delivers it like a fucking sad, depressed, scared guy.
Yeah. And also,
I thought that was a really interesting choice.
Yeah. And he also even says, like, oh man, poor Giles, when Buffy tells him, like, Giles didn't set this up. Angel did this. The line "poor Giles" I wrote really genuine. Like the simple, two very simple words that he imbued with so much meaning. Now Xander gets all "I told you so" again, and I'm just like, I'm not saying you're wrong, Xander. I'm telling you though that, like, this is not this is not the time. The "I told you so" is not. Who is it helping? Who's the "I told you so" helping?
I'll tell you.
Who?
If it gives Buffy the nudge she needs to get over herself and get to a place where she can kill Angel, then it's doing exactly what he wants it to do.
I don't trust that. I think he wants credit. I think he's so angry and he wants credit. And it's misplaced.
I think he's drawing a line and he's saying, I happen to be on the right side of the line and I need you all to get over here. He's going to get credit in the process. I think it's about, we can't have any more wishy-washy Buffy who isn't ready to kill him yet. That's how I took it.
All right. Sustained.
What a reluctant sustainment.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we cut to Spike in the lair scolding Angel for all of his he's not in it. He does not appreciate the flourish that Angel brings to his art. And he brings up a good point. He goes, I appreciate that you're having fun creating this little canvas, but all you're doing is pissing off a slayer. A slayer? It's a slayer. It's not Drusilla, a little schoolgirl. It's a slayer, which I thought was a very astute point.
Yeah, a girl who just clocking in for duty is already dedicated to fucking us up. Now you're just adding fuel to her fire, enraging her, giving her purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He calls him Roller Boy. God. God. And I was like,
I gotta say, you've brought that up so much that now my ears are attuned to it, and it's like nails on a chalkboard every time I hear it now.
And it's every episode, at least once. It's so ridiculous. So then we get an interruption to this pissing contest. Fire.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
Arrow to the shoulder. Flaming bat. Like Ripper comes in rippin'. He be rippin'. He was like, he had a look in his eye that was just no hesitation. No, like just a battering ram. He did not care if he died. He did not care if he died. He was going to get his licks in.
It's ironic because he's doing exactly the thing he cautioned Buffy about. He's going to try and get a rise out of you. He's going to try and get you to act rashly. He's going to try and inflame you.
Once
you
again,
have to resist that.
The gray area. Yeah, the gray area. So he gets some licks in, but then Giles is on the ropes. Buffy comes in to save him. And I love that Sprue just rolls away.
He's got his creep off in the background.
They just roll away. Giles is knocked out of the fight, and Bangel is fighting. Great fight choreo. Really awesome. Angel ends up getting away from Buffy, who gets him on the rope. He's down on the ground. He's laughing as she punches him in the face and points out that if she doesn't save Giles, he's going to burn up.
Classic superhero Sophie's choice.
Yeah. And so he takes that opportunity to run away. Buffy carries Giles out, and Giles is pissed. And he's just like, why did you come here? This wasn't your fight. She fucking punches him.
Yeah, good for her.
And they both sob. And she says, you can't leave me. I can't do this alone.
Right. There's more at stake than their individual grief and pain. There's a mission here.
Yeah.
And I can't do this without you. And you going off half-cocked is going to get a lot of other people killed. And we have to think 3 moves down the chessboard.
Yeah.
And she's imparting the lesson to him.
Yeah. So now we cut to more voiceover. We can just assume that we know how you feel about it. But it's the last one. So let me have this.
It hurts sometimes more than we can bear. If we could live without passion, maybe we'd know some kind of peace. But we would be hollow. Empty rooms, shuttered and dank. Without passion, we'd be truly dead.
I think I have a lot of feelings about my own passion. And I think that's why these voiceovers tap into something. I feel like you can critique, the syntax of how they're written, the whatever, but like they are hitting something in me that I have felt more than once in my life, felt burdened by my own passion and wanted to feel empty. And so there is a beauty in this.
It's hitting really close to home for you.
Yeah. And so Giles is at Jenny's grave, the music again. And Giles says that though he's lost a lot of people, this was the first person that he ever loved that he lost. And Buffy says, I wasn't ready, but I think I finally am. Willow is covering for Jenny in class, which was its own
very sad
heartbreak. And we then get Buffy's voiceover where she says, I can't hold on to the past anymore. Angel is gone. Nothing is ever going to bring him back. And then we see the disc fall between the desk.
It's a really wonderful ending. It sets up so much to come, and the fact that Willow is in position to be able to find the desk after introducing that she is starting to dabble in magic. What an episode.
This was and I was genuinely very proud of you during the watch along, which you guys can join our Patreon to watch the episodes along with us. You did not dissociate as much as I was preparing for you to do. So
Yeah,
good
no,
job.
I think yeah, I was sufficiently sucked in. I guess for me, the final word on the poetry, and I understand that like it connected with something in you that you were responding to. I feel like if you could watch a version of this episode without the voiceover, you don't lose anything. And therefore, I think that's why I don't know that we learn anything about what's happening to any of these people that we didn't already know from their performances, the dialogue, the action. The music, frankly, does more to tell us how to feel about this than any of the poems do. So I think that it felt unnecessary. And then for me to also find it a little wonky, I think that's kind of where I was like, yeah, we probably could have said less. But hearing that it connected with you and spoke to something in your experience, I'm clearly viewing it from a different vantage. So
gorgeous. Superlatives.
Let's do it. Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee meeting now in session. Who did you have for best dressed?
Best dressed. I think I said it in the watch along. I loved Buffy's white slacks with the pockets, and her utilizing the flat front pocket of the pant with that sort of black and white tank top. Mwah,
Yeah.
Loved it. I want to wear that outfit tomorrow.
I gave it to Jenny for the outfit in the courtyard when Buffy confronts her.
Yes.
Kind of little.
It's what
set
she's
with the
wearing when she
flowers.
dies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think she has it on the rest of the time. And
that
it's
was
her,
the runner-up for me.
and it's her last outfit. It's our last Jenny. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Who'd you have for worst dressed?
Willow's still doing these Freddy Krueger striped sweaters, and I can't abide. Can't abide.
I have a tie. I gave it to Xander's big red square.
which he was wearing next to Willow's
It was also
Freddy
ugly.
Krueger sweater. It was terrible.
And I also gave it to Drew, even though this outfit won best dressed some time ago. We've seen it. I don't believe that Drusilla, who we know has at least a few different dresses, would recycle looks this quickly.
No fucking way. She would have Angel. She would have Angel go to a little shop and bring her back some dresses and the shop girl that sold them.
Yes. So Drew,
agreed.
Time to retire this outfit.
Yeah.
What'd you have for best line?
I had a tie for 2, and unfortunately you're going to hate them, but I'm going to read them both again.
That's okay.
Passion is the source of our finest moments, the joy of love, the clarity of hatred, the ecstasy of grief. The calling it the ecstasy of grief really tapped into something in me that I have struggled to explain my whole life. That really felt something. And then the last one, it hurts sometimes more than we could bear. If we could live without passion, maybe we could have some kind of peace, but we would be hollow, empty rooms, shuttered and dark. Without passion, we'd be truly dead.
Well, there you go.
No notes.
I Liam the Bloody. I had a tie as well. Mine are both Spike.
You're supposed to kill the bitch, not leave gag gifts in a friend's beds.
And when Giles and Angel are fighting and Drew wants to go in, he grabs her and says,
No fair going into the ring unless he tags you.
We're seeing some playfulness from Spike, and again, that sort of like that disdain, that sort of like, this alliance is shaky. That's my brother, and I love him and I hate him, and I thought all that was contained in these very fun lines.
Yeah, it was great.
Who'd you have for worst line?
Worst line was Xander's really inappropriate. Did you guys record yourselves at your sleepover while you were fearful for your life?
Yeah, not great. Mine influenced by you. I think you've won me over on this. You didn't win me over on the poetry, but you've won me over on this particular insult because I gave the worst line to Angel for calling Spike Roller Boy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love that.
What'd you have for best move?
Giles coming in, swinging. I mean, holy bananas. Ripper was ripping.
I liked specifically, I wrote Giles going Sammy Sosa with the flaming bat.
Yeah, that was dope. It was hot.
And finally, who'd you have for most likely?
Most likely to get a job helping people plan engagements? Angel. The theatrics. I mean, just for someone who's a little
flair.
Yeah, for someone who's a little less creative but really wants to like have a showstopper of an engagement, I feel like this is the bullseye. And Angel could start his own little business. Like, I don't know of a current business where it's like, do you want help planning your engagement specifically?
Right, like a wedding planner, but for engagement.
Yes, for engagement.
This would be a reality show. What would the reality show be called?
All I can think of is Ring Pop, but that's not it.
Swing and a miss.
I need poetry. I need lessons from Angel. Writing lessons. Yeah, that was not my best. Sorry.
All right, I've got most likely to catch a beating from Christopher and Polly Walnuts for not making his VIG payments on time. Forget about it. The Magic Shopkeeper.
Yeah, I love it. That's great.
All right, that's our episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. This was weird. I much prefer being with you and able to look at you and touch you, but I was glad we didn't have to miss a week thanks to the technology. So yeah, we're back next Monday for a whole new episode. Check out our Patreon for watch-alongs and Trivia Crypt minisodes. And while you're checking stuff out, check out our other show, Kim and Ket Stay Alive Maybe, co-starring her and the hilarious Kim Burns, produced by me. Comes out every Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts, on social media at KK Sam Podcast. The show's on social media at Major Slayage Pod. Please like, please subscribe, please share your superlatives. Who did you have for best dressed, worst dressed, best line, worst line, best move, most likely? We'd love to hear it. That's all I got. You have anything else?
Nope, just miss you and love you.
I miss and love you too. All right, until next time.
Dust you later.